The arrest of Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe on foreign soil has erupted into an international diplomatic crisis, placing President Cyril Ramaphosa under intense global scrutiny. As shocking details continue to emerge from a multinational corruption probe, several foreign governments are now formally demanding explanations from the South African presidency regarding the depth of official involvement in illegal deals and misconduct tied to state contracts. According to multiple diplomatic sources, governments in Europe, North America, and parts of Asia have issued communiqués to Pretoria through their embassies, requesting urgent briefings on South Africa's role in the alleged bribery and money laundering schemes linked to Mantashe's ministry. These demands are being backed by calls for full transparency, access to related records, and, in some cases, a freeze on bilateral trade negotiations until accountability measures are enacted. The pressure comes after Mantashe's dramatic arrest during an energy conference abroad, where international investigators, working in coordination with Interpol and financial intelligence units, executed a warrant tied to a complex corruption case. Mantashe, one of President Ramaphosa's closest allies, is suspected of brokering illegal deals with foreign companies in exchange for financial kickbacks routed through offshore accounts. Now, the scandal is no longer confined to South Africa's borders, it is becoming a global embarrassment. And the world wants answers. Among the first to respond were European Union officials, who expressed deep concern over the allegations and emphasized the importance of clean governance in all energy and development partnerships. In a sharply worded statement, the EU Commission warned that South Africa's participation in several infrastructure initiatives would be reviewed pending clarification from the South African government. Similarly, the United States, through its embassy in Pretoria, called for full transparency and swift accountability. A senior U.S. State Department official, speaking off the record, said, "South Africa is a key partner in the region, but continued cooperation must rest on mutual trust, especially when public funds and international investors are involved." The United Kingdom, Canada, and Germany have reportedly requested official meetings with South Africa's Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCO, seeking clarification on whether Mantashe's actions were isolated or part of a broader pattern of state-enabled corruption. Inside the union buildings, the situation is said to be tense. President Ramaphosa is under mounting pressure from both foreign and domestic forces. While he has publicly stated his commitment to the rule of law and promised full cooperation with international investigators, critics argue that his response so far has been reactive, delayed, and politically cautious. Ramaphosa's diplomatic credibility, once bolstered by his business background and reformist image, is now being tested like never before. His failure to act decisively could jeopardize South Africa's global relationships, foreign aid contributions, and investor confidence, all of which are already fragile in the wake of economic stagnation and power crises. Opposition parties have seized on the moment. The Democratic Alliance, DA, has demanded that Ramaphosa appear before Parliament to disclose the extent of his knowledge regarding Mantashe's dealings. The Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, have gone a step further, calling for a full audit of all international contracts signed by the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy over the past 5 years. This is no longer an internal matter, said political analyst Mpumelelo Nkubila. When foreign governments are questioning your integrity and trustworthiness, the stakes are no longer just electoral, they're geopolitical. In the business sector, anxiety is growing. Major investors have begun reassessing their exposure to South Africa's energy and mining sectors, with some companies quietly postponing joint ventures. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange, JSE, saw a slight dip in resource sector stocks following news of the diplomatic fallout. Meanwhile, ordinary South Africans are grappling with the weight of yet another scandal. On social media, users are calling for full disclosure and demanding Ramaphosa take direct action. Hashtags like #RamaphosaExplain, #ANCUnderFire, and #MantashGate continue to trend, reflecting a growing frustration not only with corruption, but with the slow and often opaque government response to it. DIRCO, in a brief media update, confirmed that high-level discussions are ongoing with several governments and that South Africa remains committed to international accountability, transparency, and mutual cooperation. However, critics say such statements are cold comfort in the face of mounting global skepticism.